because after falling short to Alabama, they come back in a big way with a huge come-from-behind victory over the Texas A&M Aggies. So, without further ado, to discuss this team, we welcome in Jimmy Carter of the Arkansas Travler. Right now, he's of many things. He's not just of the Arkansas Travler. He's also with CBS Sports. But talk about the resiliency. I mean, what do you think this really says about the Arkansas Razorbacks, their ability to come back? I mean, a lot of people are talking about how much that defense stood strong as well as that quarterback because, I mean, realistically, living in the shadow of Ryan Mallett is a pretty tough thing to do. And I think he showcased why he is the starting quarterback of this team, especially in that game.
Right. Well, Tyler's kind of been placed in an interesting situation this year in that he is, like you said, having to replace Ryan Mallett. He's having to do so with an offensive line that has 3 new starters and that they've really struggled at times to give him protection, but he's been really resilient, stood in there, taken a lot of hits, and gotten back up, after every one. And he the week after the Alabama game called a team meeting, players only meeting, kind of said, "Look, this is not how we want our season to go." Got things kind of put back in perspective the way that the team wanted, and obviously played a big role in leading them back in the second half, threw for 510 yards, which was a school record, and broke Mallett's record, actually.
Now, I'm curious to know, as far as on campus goes and as far as you being the person that covers the team, and you're probably closer to the team than any media member out there because you're basically right next door to half of these kids.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more about Wilson in particular. I mean, what was the fan base saying? What were a lot of people talking about? I mean, do they have a lot of faith? I mean, obviously, after this game, a lot more faith is put in him now, but coming into this game, was there a lot of faith in him?
I think there is. Like I said, they've had to kind of work through having 3 new starters on the offensive line this year, which is he hadn't really had a good situation to work from a lot of the time. So he's been having to deal with pressure. The run game hasn't been very consistent. So I think the fans coming into the game kind of viewed him as a warrior for being able to. I think he got hit, 10, 15 times against Alabama and knocked down, and so they kind of viewed him as a warrior for staying in there and getting up after every hit. But after this game, this is his first comeback win that he led, and to do it in such dramatic fashion that kind of elevates him a little bit higher in their eyes. He's a home state guy. He grew up about an hour from campus, so the offensive coordinator Garrett McGee always constantly is talking about how this means a lot to him, and you can see that because a lot of guys I don't think would be able to stand in there and kind of take the beating he has the first couple games, and he's just gotten back up after every hit and really persevered and obviously led a really gutsy comeback Saturday.